I used to think a stained driveway was permanent. 6 years of oil shadows, black mildew streaks, and this ugly gray film that made the whole slab look tired no matter what I threw at it. Then a retired contractor watched me waste an afternoon with a wire brush, walked over, and told me I was fighting a battle that couldn't be won that way. He showed me a scoop of white powder, and 20 minutes later, a stain I'd struggled with for years had lifted out of the concrete like it was never there. Under $6. And the pressure washer never left the garage. The reason it worked comes down to something most people never learn about their own driveway. The stain isn't sitting on the concrete, it's living inside it. Concrete looks solid, but under a microscope, it's a maze of tiny pores, like a hard sponge. Every oil drip, every rained-in wash of pollen, every patch of mildew soaks down into those channels and settles deep. That's why scrubbing the surface accomplishes almost nothing. You're wiping the lid while the mess sits inside the jar. Anything that actually cleans concrete has to travel down into those pores and break the stain loose from within. And one cheap compound happens to do exactly that. That compound is sodium percarbonate. When it meets warm water, it splits into washing soda and hydrogen peroxide, and that peroxide releases what chemists call active oxygen. Those oxygen molecules move into the concrete pores and attack the bonds holding organic stains in place. Mildew, algae, food residue, grime, the tannins that leach out of fallen leaves. It doesn't scrub the stain away. It dissolves the invisible glue keeping the stain stuck to the concrete, and once that bond breaks, the discoloration simply floats free. Now here's why I call it forbidden. Walk into a hardware store and you'll find this exact compound sold as oxygenated concrete cleaner for $25 a bottle. Walk into the laundry aisle of any grocery store and you'll find the identical chemical sold as oxygen bleach powder for a few dollars a pound. Same molecule, same active oxygen. The only difference is the label and a spectacular markup. The concrete cannot tell the difference because chemistry doesn't read packaging. But before we go further, I need to tell you something real quick. My wife bet me nobody would watch a guy talk about cleaning concrete for 10 minutes. So if this is helping you at all, hit that subscribe button and help me prove her wrong. I already lose every argument in this house. Let me win this one. So why 20 minutes? That number isn't random, and understanding it explains why so many people fail with oxygen cleaners. The first thing that matters is temperature. Cold water barely wakes the powder up, but warm water triggers the oxygen to release fast and strong. When the mixture turns slightly cloudy, that haze is the reaction beginning. The folks who complain that oxygen cleaners are weak almost always mix them cold, quietly capping their own results before anything even started. Heat is the ignition switch for the entire process. The second thing is how the solution meets the surface. On dry concrete, the mixture soaks unevenly and gets stolen by parched patches before it can reach the stain. On pre-dampened concrete, the oxygen spreads wide and reaches every pore at once. That's why professionals always work a damp slab. The moisture is what carries the reaction evenly across the whole surface, instead of letting it vanish into random dry spots. The third and most important factor is time, and this is the real secret behind the 20 minutes. The oxygen has to physically migrate down into the concrete, locate the stain molecules, and sever the bonds holding them there. That journey takes right around 20 minutes. Anything less and the reaction gets rinsed away before it finishes. The one condition is that the surface can never dry out. On a hot day, a light mist keeps it active because dry solution is dead solution. kept wet, that oxygen keeps working the entire time, doing what a wire brush never could. And once those 20 minutes are up, something satisfying happens. The loosened grime floats up out of the pores, turning the water brown and gray as years of embedded filth rises to the surface. From there, it barely takes any effort to wash away, because the stain is already dissolved and floating. This is also why high pressure is unnecessary and even counterproductive. A 3,000 pounds per square inch machine etches concrete and carves open new pores for future stains to settle into, while a gentle rinse protects the surface and still carries everything away. There's a safety side worth respecting too. Sodium percarbonate is far gentler than acid or chlorine bleach, but active oxygen can still stress a lawn, so it's kept off the grass, and it's never combined with other cleaning chemicals. On its own in water, it breaks down into oxygen, soda ash, and plain water, all completely harmless. Let me be straight with you. Pressure washing isn't worthless. For a fast rinse-off, it has its place. But blasting water at a stain buried inside the concrete will never win, because the water never reaches where the stain actually lives. The oxygen does, and that's the whole difference. The economics are what make this sting. A professional cleaning runs $200 to $500. Rental gear runs $80 a day plus your weekend. This compound costs pennies per square foot and reaches stains the expensive methods leave behind entirely.
There's one more piece that ties this together. Concrete never stops moving. It breathes for its entire life, pulling moisture up from the ground and pushing it out the top. And that slow cycle carries old staining right along with it. This is why scrubbing the surface fails. You clean the top while the moisture underneath quietly pumps the buried stain back up over the following weeks. The oxygen method wins because it rides those same channels down to where the stain lives and dissolves it there. Empty the sponge completely, and the stain has nothing left to return from.
So there it is. The forbidden cleaner the store would rather you never understood.
And make sure to check my playbook where I go into more details about the forbidden cleaning tricks and hacks.
If this opened your eyes or saved you some money, do me one favor. Hit subscribe, because I break down a new budget home trick every single week, and the next one might save you even more. Drop a comment and tell me what stain you're finally about to destroy. I'll see you in the next